Hello there, it's Soul with a bonus round of Horrific Vision commentary. This is part of a series where I take classes that I don't know how to play, gear them up with only outdoor world content and horrific visions, and then complete a 5-chest run. Today we're revisiting the Paladin class, this time as Retribution, as part of a special project, and we're over in Stormwind this week. Because with this Paladin, I spent a few weeks amassing keys, and then I sat down and worked my way up from a rank 1 cloak all the way to a 5-chest run in only about 2 or so hours, and before this, I never really bothered with using Retribution as a spec when running my Horrific Visions on my main. And this is that run. He's running with an item level of 437 with no focus on Azeroth traits. He has 2 corruptions, a level 1 tentacle with an item level of 420 and a mastery proc. His cloak rank is at 9, meaning 45% sanity resistance, and a neck level of a whopping 86. Lots of world quests, guys. He's using Breath of the Dying as his main essence with Condensed Life Force, Purification Protocol, and Crucible of Flame, which he earned on his own, but the others were bought with Echoes of Ny'alotha. For talents, he's running Zeal, Fires of Justice, Fist of Justice, Wake of Ashes, Cavalier, Selfless Healer, and Divine Purpose. For research, he's spec'd for solo play and just purchased Elite Extermination. He does have weapon and ring enchants, along with Ghastly Goulash, Kebabs, and a Strength Flask. All that said, let the games begin. So I came into this thing really confident by the time I got to this run, because I was just kind of smoking through a lot of these runs, and so I was like, you know what, YOLO, let's go ahead and give this a go. So something I already forgot is that I did use invisibility potions when doing all of these runs, so I can just skip past these ads and otherwise go for the next area or go for these guys, which I usually do. So I kick it off with a Wake of Ashes and just kind of go nuts on these guys because they give me, they were going to give me a little bit of trouble. So one of the advantages of playing as a class that I know, even though it's a spec that I don't know very well, is that, buttons are still familiar. Stuns, interrupts, that sort of thing. I have much more proficiency with getting used to those because, they're familiar buttons that I'm familiar with. Haha, good going. But I still have little struggles with taking care of these guys. Like with the footmen, I have to deal with the repel or otherwise ignore these guys, which is something that I did. So I just focused on softer targets. As you know, I went for Reaping Flames as opposed to Vision of Perfection, which is something that I kept getting told, hey, that's the good one because something to do with Azeroth traits, I believe. But I didn't really get any good Azeroth traits. Not the one that makes you sort of explode whenever you spend holy power. I believe that's the one. So off I go. I take out those guys really quick, and as the footmen came, I just took them out since they didn't happen to have repel running, and then off we go. So the routine, of course, is pretty much identical to the usual thing, and so I was practicing those runs right up before this particular run. So if anything, I'm definitely warmed up. I've gotten used to the way I handle mobs here, and in this case, it's just a matter of doing them all correctly, getting it all done in time, and then dealing with the empowered Ilaria at the very end. So having Reaping Flames is something that I wanted to have handy for her, especially because I wanted to have another ranged attack available. So you might have seen, just earlier, I was hitting that little pimple with Reaping Flames just so I can get a cooldown going, or get the empowered Reaping Flames going. So that way I can go for troublesome mobs like the archers, and then I go for a big pull. I go ahead and grab everything, pop all that stuff, that Shield of Vengeance thing, that's going. I don't have, I do have cooldown pots, but I don't have drums or anything like that on me. And I focus on the main guy, just so I could, of course, get the sanity restoration once he's dead. But otherwise, everything else is melting pretty darn quickly. I was pretty surprised, just how I kind of blow my own mind every time that I get onto a DPS spec, and I'm like, wow, they do a lot of damage. Obviously, they do a lot of damage. They're a DPS spec, so I still remain surprised by this sort of thing. So anyway, with that thing dead, start going ahead and picking stuff up. I'm still picking up treasures here because later after this run I kept going. So enough said there. But here I go for the second half of the pull, which is to get this pack and all the way around to the other big guy plus the archers. Focus a little bit of love on the archers so I can get a Reaping Flames proc, and there it is. And then I start to just get some AoE out to keep my holy power spenders going, and then just tab over to mobs and kill the weak ones. So that way I can start whittling them down quickly. I don't have to worry about my life going down. But of course, Goulash is taking care of, Goulash takes care of a lot of the work here too. From practice, though, there were moments where I was like, "Ooh, I'm taking a lot more damage than than I thought I was." So I had to be a little bit more careful and focus a little bit more on just dealing some damage out. So everything's clear. I'm just kind of backtracking here. And you'll notice when I'm doing this run, something that I continue to struggle with on this spec is good usage of Blade of Justice. Like, I'll let it sit, kind of hang out there, leave it off cooldown for a while, throw a Judgment instead of Blade of Justice because, hey, it's off cooldown and I'm in range and Blade of Justice is not. So I'm pretty bad on that. I'll I'll make that one clear. So I open up big and hard on this guy, pop all the cooldowns, make sure that's that everything's going. It looks like I didn't spend enough holy power, but I didn't even need to because he just got took. But I'm seeing that my Wake of Ashes is still on cooldown, so not the best utilization, but not something that was super critical either. And now Kebab. So I'm being especially paranoid here because I only have so many tries that are available to me. One thing that I was really scared of is, oh man, what if I can't even complete a 5-chest run? What if I keep messing up? So that's why I opted to, spend a little bit more gold and get myself some enchants and go ahead and use consumables, but not everything. Well, I kind of forgot too, I have to admit. So I forgot about scrolls, I forgot about augment runes. And I was like, okay, I can go back to town and get it, but man, I'm on a roll. So let's just go ahead and keep going, is what I decided. So 3 orbs left. I'm at roughly 1/3 sanity. Want to take care of these guys because the slow on these guys is just like a huge pain in the butt as always. And I opt to go to the right first so I can immediately take on the elites so I can get some of that precious sanity back. Running back from this lady isn't too bad, but I ended up getting a lot of extra ticks from this by accident. I'm dealing with Haunting Shadows, by the way, which, thank goodness, Haunting Shadows is not so bad. It was much easier to deal with than, say, Split Personality or something like that. That would have really messed up my rhythm, and I probably would have approached the run slightly differently if I had to deal with that instead. So of course I'm going for this pack kind of separately. Some stealth packs tend to appear sometimes here, but I opt to, of course, go for the informants first, take care of the stun, followed by whatever smaller mobs, and from there, just try to make good use of my Reaping Flames to take most of these mobs out quickly, even if they have high health, because if I get an empowered Reaping Flames buff, then cool. Now my sanity is running really low right now. I'm kind of taking a risk here going for this extra pull, knowing that there will be stealth mobs that I have to deal with. And I'm really close, and yay. Just as planned, right? Perfect timing. Totally intended this. I think earlier I had a run where I was at literally 0 sanity and I still managed to get it off. So that was luck. That was not skill. That was totally lucky of me that I was able to get it off the second that I did, basically. So with this pack, as a DPS class, this is where I definitely need to still pay attention to Executioners. They deal horrendous damage, and they can cut through the buff that Goulash gives you if you're not careful. So just make sure to take care of those guys first, as always. As for the rest of the guys, not a big deal. The Shadowblade, the Light Hunter, they slow you down and otherwise are kind of a nuisance. But once you have the major mobs down, then you're okay. So off we go to this big guy. I'm still pretty good on sanity as it is right now, but you can see how quickly it's going down. Seeing that I have a rank 9 cloak, and that guy just got eliminated. Whew. He got took. Thank goodness. Because again, with a rank 9 cloak and only 45% sanity resistance, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Even 5% of a difference, you can feel it. Once you do so many of these runs, then you start to notice small things like that. So, as always with this pack, you want to take care of the Informant first, take care of the stun, followed by the Executioner because he does really big damage. From there, the other ones get cut down pretty quick, and off we go to Shaw. Hey, buddy. So I do have an Empowered Reaping Flames available. I go ahead and open up with that before he disappears, and otherwise my debuff would go away. Because otherwise I would want to pop like Avenging Wrath and have that be empowered, then I can get like a really nice crit if possible. But you can't get that all the time. Sometimes you got to make a quick decision and be like, you know what, he's gonna disappear in a second. I don't want to lose that opportunity. Here we go. But I'm just tearing through him right now. One big thing about Avenging Wrath as red is that it lasts quite a long time, and so it gives me plenty of opportunity when he first comes out of that first disappearing act to just unload on him. Gives you a great opportunity for that. So down he goes. I'm at half sanity, 2 orbs remaining, and off we go to the trade distract. Let's go. And I didn't kebab there. I could have. I probably should have, but I think I was getting cocky. I didn't really think about it. But there we go. I go out, and then I have a call because I'm like, wait a minute. Let's play it safe, right? Safety first, friends, enemies, etc. So off I go again. Here we go. And so I forget how big of a pull I did here. We'll find out. I have trouble remembering now. But of course, looks like I'm doing a 3/4 pull. Yeah, so I'm grabbing all these guys. Oh no, I did a full pull. Yeah, here we go, guys. So I pull everything, pop everything, and I'm just going for it. So the important thing here is to try to maintain some control. I'm using Shield of Vengeance. I know that I have Divine Shield available to me too, so it's a way for me to like just totally cheat out of stuff, but I take advantage of it, and these guys just get mowed down. One thing about doing this is that, I'm pretty green coming into this as a ret, at least. I don't quite know my own strength. I don't quite know my own vitality and how well I can handle things. And so as I was doing these runs, I was doing some big pulls and some small pulls, and I was like, okay, I can handle this or I can't handle that. I think I just happened to get some pretty good procs there that just really made that pull happen. So that saves me a whole lot of time, and off we go to this guy. This mother effer. Of course, I'll take care of the Agonizing Torment for the first one. And from here, dealing with the second one, I can do one of several things. I can either eat it, which is what I'm going to just end up doing, or I can use the Divine Shield. I don't have Spell Warding, unfortunately. So those are things that I'll just have to like deal with, or otherwise just kill him extremely quickly. But with him down, it wasn't that big of a sanity hit. Right now, I'm just trying to be focused on, okay, let's just try to go fast, and then I'll save my Divine Shield for later, notably the elite that we encounter in the Mage Quarter. So as you see, I open up big on him, and in just a matter of seconds, I drop him down to all the way down to a 32% life. Now, of course, it's kind of interrupted by the fact that he does his chains consecutively, and I don't get too much of an opportunity to do some additional damage to him, but down he goes anyway. So that was a pretty smooth kill for that one. Thank goodness. And now we just got to go ahead and clean up and take care of business. I'm a little bit under half sanity, still have the 2 bars left, and not too much in the vial department. I don't recall which vial I identified here, but I just was not having good luck on this one. And vials are very important. Take a look at the vial. Make sure that, double check your charts, or if you like using weak auras, I'm not too fond of them, but if you like using those, they'll help you identify those too. Excuse me. So we're cleaning up. Everything's looking pretty good. I don't know why I skipped that chest. Maybe I was kind of in the zone. Maybe I totally didn't see it. And I was just like, all right, we got to get this thing done. Because my sanity is getting pretty low. I'm going to need to make a decision soon as to, okay, when am I going to use my orb? Can I am I going to be able to use it for that, for the particular ad? Am I going to run out of time? We'll find out. But first, a kebab break. Ooh. But yeah, overall, this day, the day that I was having with this, it was something that I was really looking forward to. And looking back on it, I had a lot of fun doing it. It felt good knowing that, you know, all the training and preparation and everything that I was doing, it all paid off. Even though I was coming to this as a spec that I didn't have a whole lot of experience with, the only kind of practice content that I was doing with Retribution was just outdoor content. So nothing overly challenging, but of course, having done like dozens of these runs, maybe more than 100 or so of these runs, you know, I know how these things work in and out. Maybe I can't really speak to it very well, but you know, I felt pretty confident going into this, and it wasn't unfounded. So you could see, I was just like, okay, I'm screwed. I just ended up using my my extra life, and it was mostly because those blobs, they just kind of kept me stuck in combat, and so it just put me in a really bad situation. But when it comes to times like these, you got to turn that bad situation into a good one. So in this case, the strategy just changes. So now I still have I still have two orbs left. I'm a little bit under. I'm around 1/3 sanity or so. And I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, well, I could either orb now, or I could just kind of go for the guy. So what I'm going to do here instead, I'm going to go ahead and clear some of these ads, because I know that my sanity is draining a little bit faster than normal. So I'm going to take care of these guys, and then, you know, it's a little bit less efficient, but I'll be able to just use my orb on the guy, on the elite. So first I got to clear these guys out and make sure that I don't screw up again and get myself stuck in combat. So I'm kind of looking around like, are there slimes around here? Maybe I should go up a little closer. Nah, forget it. I'll just go and pop the thing here, pull them, and then just go nuts. So here we go. This is it. Kind of do or die. Well, not really. The sense of urgency isn't quite there yet, but it just did suck having to that I missed out on that extra life. But I messed him up. Like, I got some really strong hits in there. I guess I avenged myself for having used up that extra life. I gave myself like a little rage buff or something like that. So down he went, no consequence, no divine shield needed. And that's the kind of prep that you need to do when approaching these sorts of things. Just try to have as many of the tools in your kit available to you, so that way when the time comes, it's like, okay, you know, this is what I can do. And you got to make some sort of snap decisions as to which abilities you're going to use, knowing that you're not going to have them later. So now we're going for one of the last portal keepers until we go for the second elite, and here we go. Of course, take care of the big marshmallow Voidwalker looking dude. Void Buffett sucks. And it was the cause of several close runs during this day of visions for my rep pally. But down that thing goes. And now to deal with this guy, who can be a little bit troublesome as a melee class. I mean, you can see like he has a kind of big hitbox, but you know, not quite big enough, because you know you're just like that far away from him. Even if you are, you know, even if you're trying to fight him at max melee range, you just want to make sure that after the two shadow ults that he does, that you move away from him a little bit. And then so here's the other shadow bolt, and you know, I would want to move away and prep for him to do his rain of fire. It looks like he was doing more shadow bolts and just dropped beforehand. Usually he has a sort of pattern where he'll fire off a number of shadow bolts and then switch to rain of fire. But that didn't happen. So up we go. Forget these guys. Actually keep an eye on those guys. That's important. So up I climb. Here we go. About to do this. You know, and you know, so one thing I wanted to do is, okay, this is it. I'm just going to orb for this, and I can't. Excuse me, I can't orb because I'm technically still in combat. So those slimes that I grabbed and ignored in previous runs, I was able to get out of combat. In this case, I did not. So I'm like, okay, great. Here comes the sanity stuff. I gotta run out, climb all the way down, and find these guys. They're right there. Great. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, this run is ruined. Can I bubble and will they run away? No, that didn't happen. So you can see the look on my face. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. So here we go, having to deal with what we've got. So I'm gonna pop my final orb at the bottom of the mage tower quarter thing, and this is it. I got nothing left but a kebab that I won't be able to use until after I get out of here. Using the kebab here in the mage quarter with this cloak rank, it's wildly inefficient. I'm like, okay, and I'll be getting out of combat here since I'll drop this guy really fast. So yeah, this is it. Off I go, run in, pop wings, and then just go nuts. So I can interrupt. The decision I made was to just interrupt his arcane missiles. There's nothing I can do about the polymorph. Maybe I can interrupt it, but the more important thing would be the entropic missiles, and I'd only be able to get so many opportunities here too. So yeah, kind of a bummer for this run. So things are going to be really close here. So I happen to get hit by that last ice cube thing. Good going, Soul. Everything counts at this point. So down he goes. I am at 75% or so sanity. I got nothing left but a kebab that I'm about to eat, and this is it. Nothing but nothing but whatever I've got. No drums, cooldown pots, sure, but very few resources available to me at this point. Except coffee, I got plenty of that for sure. But here we go. Last, this is it. Of course, I got plenty of chances, but this was my pride was on the line at this point. I was on such a roll, and I really wanted to nail this one. So in I go slowly. No, no divine steed available to me. And so I unload my Avenger Shield. My Avenging Wrath is still on cooldown, so none of those opportunities are available to me. And it's just swing and hit. Use as many ranged attacks as I can get to get some extra damage in, and hope that between Crucible of Flame or perhaps the Tentacle proc, little things like that will help me out. I don't have Divine Shield either because I use that thinking that it would get me out of combat. So I don't have that available to me either. So I'm really strapped. So now it's just a matter of, all right, so I'll just do a proper rotation, line of sight the best as you can. There goes my Avenging Wrath, followed quickly by a polymorph. Thanks a lot, Ilaria, you jerk. I hate you. And then of course, this is a familiar view for many of you who play melee classes, just having to deal with, oh boy, all these little things. So right before chains goes off, I try to get in whatever I can, get in a quick little reaping flames in for some decent damage, and then just get in as much as I can. You can see my UI starts to kind of, be a detriment to my own performance here because I'm trying to stay out of stuff and things are like right on top of my character. Just something that I, didn't really notice until doing this particular run. But she's getting pretty low, 9%. Every little swing counts. And sanity's looking pretty good. I just got to stay focused. And that's it. Down she goes. Thank goodness. I admit that towards the end, it was a little bit of a roller coaster with having lost the extra life. That went away. Followed by staying in combat. That was just a mistake of mine, for sure. But I felt good. I felt really good. I felt like I earned this one. All the work that I put into having a good start, it paid off in the end because that's what got me the time that I needed to finish. If I made mistakes earlier, things would have been could have been potentially worse. So here I got gauntlets, and I get leech. Woo, awesome, leech. So this is the final 5 chest. I guess technically I didn't, this is the 5 chest on a low level character. I didn't do one on a paladin, so here it is. So this is the end of the bonus round, and I suppose the last video that I'll do on Horrific Visions is the big retrospective. I'll share some data, I'll share some thoughts, what I liked and didn't like about Visions overall. And I hope that you give that one a watch and a listen when that comes out in the next couple of days or a week or so. So thanks for watching this one. I know that this is kind of repeat since I'm a paladin and all that, and I already uploaded like the entire full run earlier, but I appreciate you watching this anyway, and I hope that this was helpful. If so, please leave a like for the video and subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.